Perfect.
All right. Good morning, guys. So
Morning.
Hi.
I'm going to read your bio, and then if there's anything you would like to add, you can go ahead and fill us in. So
Got it.
Jesse is a physical therapist, owner, and founder of District Physical Therapy and Physio in Washington, D.C. His practice focuses on keeping active people active and taking the fear out of movement and recovery. Jesse doesn't believe that any activity is off limits for anyone, and that people should continue to enjoy the exercise and activities that they've always loved doing. I really love that. He believes that too much of healthcare is focused on fear-based messaging and is on a mission to promote an optimistic approach to movement. You know, that's how I came up with my name, Ignite Wellness, because I thought it was optimistic versus
Right.
like rehab, which focuses on the
Right.
pain, you know?
Yeah, exactly. The same thing. I try to do all positive messaging, all optimistic.
So important. Awesome. So Maddie is the owner and founder of 202 Strong, which has two locations in the Metro DC area. Maddie believes in taking the fear out of the barbell and wants to make barbell lifting accessible and enjoyable for everyone. 202 Strong combines strength and circuit training to improve strength, total body fitness, and maybe most importantly, confidence. Yeah. She and her gym specialize in making real strength training accessible and less intimidating for those who have never touched a barbell, while at the same time challenging more experienced lifters to give both a personalized touch and a workout in a group class setting. So anything you guys would like to add?
Not from my point of view. I mean, that pretty much sums everything up that I try to do.
Yeah, and for me, the barbell changed my life when I started lifting, and I realized that it's not intimidating once you know what you're doing and you have the right kind of coaching with it. So I wanted to bring that to the masses in the boutique fitness area, and just bring the barbell into that space and show people that it really can be done safely and can be very effective.
I love that. Yeah, I mean, even myself as a PT, like I sometimes I've injured myself in the gym by just going too like crazy or not being aware. So I think
Sure.
that's really important, very applicable to everyone. So
Right.
tell us, how did you guys come together, and how do you work together in providing a service, and what is that like niche that you guys mostly work with? What type of clientele or patients?
Sure. So, I mean, we've known each other for a couple years. And when I was looking to open my own practice, I looked all over DC. And then finally, Maddie came to me and had a space come available. And it was just kind of a no-brainer for me to, A, she had an awesome space, but B, just work with someone that kind of shares the same vision that I do. So that's kind of how we became, I guess I'm technically her tenant, but we work a little bit more than that. So that's kind of how that partnership happened.
Yeah, and I wanted to bring Jesse into 202 Strong and have him be involved with 202 Strong because I've seen him myself as, when I get injured or just have little aches and pains. And what I always really appreciated was I was never told, well, stop doing this. You can never run again. You can never squat again. It was, no, maybe let's tweak a few things, or you need to get stronger here. But at the end of the day, you can do what you want to do. And I've sent a lot of my clients to see Jesse, and we all have that same appreciative, sense that we can keep doing what we want and not be told to stop.
Yeah, I love this. And I think this example that you guys are modeling here is really beneficial for other PTs to hear, other gym owners to hear. So take us through maybe like a patient or client scenario. They maybe walk into the gym, and then how do they hook up with Jesse, or vice versa? Maybe they're with Jesse. How do they hook up with Maddie? Do they eventually get a gym membership?
You want to go from your point of view first?
Yeah, so from my point of view, what I've realized over the years is that functional movement, whether it's just a squat or pressing something overhead, really exposes a lot of our limitations or some old injuries that we may never notice because we didn't do these things. And so when those nagging injuries come about, it's nice to have someone to refer that client to so that they can continue working out, not have to stop their gym membership or anything like that, and then continue into the classes. Jesse knows what we do in our classes and what our goals are.
I coach too, actually. I don't know if I think we forgot to mention that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So being on the fitness side and the PT side, we kind of bring those two together. So for me, it's been very helpful.
Awesome.
And then from my point of view, if someone isn't necessarily a gym member first, I've referred a lot of my clients who get better for either personal training with her personal trainers or into classes, just because I think continuing to strength train and be more active after they're done with the rehab portion is super important. So a lot of times I'll tell someone, we've kind of done everything that we need to here, but it would be super beneficial for you to continue strength training or whatever with a personal trainer or something like that. So it kind of feeds both ways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sounds like a win-win for both, which
For
is
sure. Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
That's a great business model. So tell me, maybe from both your point of views, what does wellness really mean to you personally?
So for me, wellness means kind of taking a healthy view in all parts of life. So stress, sleep, nutrition, kind of taking a look at everything. Exercise. So I think there's important things for wellness for everybody, but I also think that there's different ways that people can view wellness. So I think someone who wants to be super involved with yoga and be vegetarian, that's just as good as someone who wants to do CrossFit and paleo. So I think there's certain key things that go into wellness, but I think the pathway people can take can be very different.
Yeah, individualized.
Yeah, definitely.
Totally. And I agree with that very much. For me, wellness is mental and physical well-being. So Jesse mentioned stress, anxiety, just like exercise for me is a big confidence booster, and lifting has been a big confidence booster. So the way you feel about yourself transcends into a lot of different parts of your life. So I look at wellness as obviously from a fitness perspective, but how that also shapes you mentally and emotionally.
Yeah, I love all of that. So how do you incorporate some of that into maybe your sessions?
So for me, that very first session, I get into, I don't just talk about their shoulder or what injury happened to the gym. We also talk about what else could have been going on. Was it a really stressful time in your life? How was your sleep around that time? What else possibly could be going on? Because a lot of times injuries happen not because of what's going on inside the gym or on the run or anything like that, but just because people are worn down from not sleeping well, or they're super stressed, or it's the same workout they've done 100 times, but they were sick for the last week. So I incorporate all of that kind of in my very first session, at least to get a baseline. And then we constantly just talk about what else is going on. What can you do to stay healthy, not just physically, but there's all these other pieces that can feed into your injury and to your recovery.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, definitely. And then kind of on that fitness end, the same thing. Like you could be lifting, let's say, a certain number of pounds on your back squat one day, but then you didn't sleep or you had a stressful day at work and you come in and you're just not feeling it. That's okay. And we want you to get the workout that's best for you. So we have that personalization in our classes where maybe everyone else is going for their 1 rep max, but today you just feel super off, but you're still going to just lift and go through those movements. Or maybe we're going to change something for you so that you can get a workout that's good for you. But we're not here to beat you up. We're not here to have
Keep
you
them
so
safe.
you can't come back the next day.
Yeah, super important. Yeah. So do you guys find yourself in these sessions giving, like, what's the biggest tip you find yourself giving people or clients or patients?
Just to trust themselves, and it's a lot of times we're in our own heads. I know I take my own advice on that one, but when you walk into the gym, trust yourself, trust the coaches that we're here to help you, and you can do it. No matter what restriction or injury you may previously have, we're here to help you find your strong. That's our tagline. So yeah, walk in with an open mind and be confident in yourself, and you'll be surprised at what you can really do.
Yeah, because we can get in our own ways sometimes, or a lot of the time, right?
Everybody can.
Yes,
sure.
Definitely.
And how about
I think the biggest tip I give people is don't be so afraid. Kind of like I said in the bio, there's so much fear-based messaging that I tell people it's okay to have pain. You can deadlift with, a bad back. You don't have to
okay to bend forward.
Exactly. It's okay. You don't have to
twist
every single time. Your posture doesn't have to be perfect. It's okay to lift overhead. So I tell people it's okay to do things. And a lot of times it just gives people that freedom to like relax a little bit. And
so we're not.
Right? Exactly.
Yeah.
People just move too rigid and they're afraid, and they get told all these different things that they shouldn't do. So to me, I want to tell people, don't be so afraid. It's not going to injure you. And a little bit of pain's okay a lot of times.
Probably can do it most of the time. You're okay. And I've seen that proven with a lot of my clients. Their doctor says, don't do this, don't do that, you can't do this. And then we work and we slowly build up to things. And
that's the key, right?
They're amazed at what they can do, and the feeling that the clients get, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally, is to me the biggest change.
Yeah, it's so important, because otherwise they're just living in a box. And
and if you keep telling someone not to do something, at some point they run out of things to do, and they stop doing things that they enjoy.
Exactly. So as business owners, what are the biggest challenges that you've had to overcome or you're working through?
I can go for that one.
Okay.
We touched base on this a little bit, but for me, it's getting out of my own head. I've owned 202 Strong now for 4 years.
That's awesome.
And thank you. It's actually our birthday on Saturday. So
congratulations.
Thank you. We've grown. There's 2 locations. I have a staff of about 20 people that work at 202 Strong. And I get caught up in so many things of, well, what if this, what if that, what if this happens, what if that happens? And so much can happen tomorrow, today, we don't know. So I just try to tell myself to live in the present and to set goals, but not so much worry. Am I doing a good enough job? Is this going to happen? And just trying to take control of each day as it comes and enjoy the series.
Is there something that you do, let's say you feel like you are getting caught up in your own head, that like grounds you back to the moment, or are you able to catch yourself?
Yeah, she texts me and tells me she's going crazy, and I tell her to calm down.
I catch myself. I'm very self-aware. So I try to take a couple deep breaths, and I just say, Maddie, it's okay. You can't control this situation, and when the day comes, you'll realize you're actually fine, and it wasn't as as you made it.
Yes, right.
And having a lot of that experience now, it's easier to tell myself those things.
Yeah, but thank you for sharing, because it's like, practical, tangible advice that someone listening right now can implement right now. But it comes with that awareness first, that self-observation, the ability to take a step back.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how about for you, Jesse?
I think I also have some of those same challenges where I don't necessarily believe something might work, or I'm going to be as successful as something, or anything like that. So it probably took me a little bit longer than it should to even open my own practice, but I still kind of have to force myself to like trust myself and realize that I'm doing okay and things like that. But also one of the biggest challenges, DC has 1 million therapists. There are 2 right on this single little block. I can walk across the street and get to 2 other physical therapists that are cash based. So every time I go somewhere to market or to introduce myself or anything like that, there's already been a physical therapist there that's kind of done the same thing. So to differentiate myself is a little bit tough.
Yeah. You just that clear message of who you're talking to.
Yep.
Yeah, I find that too here in San Diego, but even Encinitas, I have one PT, literally huge one across the street, and the owners, I love them, level 4, they're great, and then one just a half a mile down the road. But you know, what we've actually talked about collectively is just really talking to our person, and then we attract our tribe, essentially.
Exactly. Like one of the physical therapists across the street specializes in dancers. I know nothing about dancers. I know nothing. So if I get somebody for her, I'll send it to her.
Yeah, exactly. We can actually work together.
Exactly.
Yes, building a community instead of fearing the competition is important.
Yeah, and it's great that there's so many cash-based PTs, because then it's also educating the community on the value of PT and, you know, all that.
There's very few people that I talk to that are shocked that that's even a model, because there's so many around here that do it.
Yeah, that's great. Awesome. Paving the way.
Exactly.
So you talked about this briefly, but going back to the all-encompassing wellness, maybe give us a sneak shot into your day or the morning, but how do you incorporate some of this well-being into your own like personal day-to-day moments in life?
So for me, exercise is super important. It's kind of my hour during the day that's for me, and it makes me feel better physically, mentally. If I'm too busy to get in a workout that day, I definitely feel the effects. And then also, I'm a very social person, so making sure I get some social interaction on the weekends and just have a little bit of fun. Just make sure I have good people around me.
Yeah.
I'm the complete opposite.
100%.
So I need my exercise fix every day, but I need my me time where you're not talking to me.
Yeah.
I'm an introvert to the core.
Yeah, me
so
too.
On Sunday, if I spend the whole day just by myself, then I feel great. And that's how I energize. And I need to take that time, because being around so many people and work and being social for 14 hours a day takes a lot out of me. So knowing that I need that time to be by myself is important.
Yeah, and I think that's key. What you guys just said is that knowing yourself well enough to know that maybe you have to go out and, you know, hang out with some friends on the weekend to replenish and rejuvenate. Where I'm similar. My good friends and my husband know, like, hey, I'm going into hermit mode. That means that, and I just say I'm being a hermit, and they get it. So there's no, you know, judgment. But yeah, it took me a while to have the confidence to say that to people. Like, look, I actually need to have, you know, my quiet time, and you know, it may be strange, but it's what I need.
And it's important to have. Otherwise, burnout is a real thing, no matter how much you love to go.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much for sharing your time here. I'd love for you to share ways people can get a hold of both of your business. So maybe share some links or social media tags, that sort of thing.
Sure. So kind of all my tags and my website are the same. districtperformancephysio.com, District Performance Physio on Instagram and Facebook. All those are really easy ways to get in touch with me.
Perfect.
202strong.com. Our Instagram is 202_strong. My personal one is Maddie202strong. So 202strong.
Guys, keeping it simple with your brand. I love it.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for your time. So if you're in the area, follow up with them. It sounds like they also both do coaching. So even if you're not, maybe reach out to them. They might be able to set something up virtually. So thank you. And we'll just be in touch. I'm going to end this recording. Okay.
Sounds good.